Mr. Technology Man here. How are you? How is everything going? We break it down, we do all the work, we hunt and find all the tricks so that you don't have to. We left off with Servio and all of its issues that we had with that, and what I wanted to do is look at ways of solving that. Servio's big issue is that it pulls data from the TV database, which is by far one of the worst repositories on the internet because there's a group of individuals who was running that who has no idea how TV shows were released or how they should be released. In the case of Night Gallery, they insist it should be single episodes, and that's not how it was released. That is how it went into syndication. They are wrong. So, my hopes of doing things from the back end, I tried to modify that. I opened up an account, which is free. I went there, I tried to modify the Night Gallery series. They have now locked it, and were very upset with me, saying, you've vandalized our series. You've torn this apart. No, you're doing it wrong. So since the back end couldn't be resolved, I thought maybe the front end had some promise. And Kodi is what you see here. It's an application that is free, that you can access it. If you want to try to tie into Servio, you need to go to, and we'll go back again, to your settings, your little wheel, and your services, and universal plug and play, UPnP. And you notice all 5 of the first sliders are accepted, and those are under the expert level. Let me see if I go to basic what happens. You'll only see 2. So if you click on the bottom here and go to advanced, when you go to that UPnP, accept all of those sliders, slide them all over to yes. When you do that, you come into videos here and files. When you add videos and you want to add a video source, you browse and you go to UPnP, and I happen to have 2 different Servios sitting there. When you add it, this image, of course, won't be present. I'm going to go into it. It looks very similar to what we've seen in Servio's browser, which you won't have access to when it ends its trial period. So you'll have to pay 20, I think it's 25. No, Servio is, I think it is $25. You can check that out though. We'll click into the series here and we see the series here. Here's Night Gallery, Season 1. And this isn't half bad. I mean, it really isn't half bad because what it's done here is it's at least put the first production for each of the episodes in the right place. It didn't do this when I did this on my television for some reason. And go back here again. Let's go to Season 2. And this one, again, not terribly bad either. Pretty much, I think, have it right. But you look at the number of episodes, they're saying there's 61 episodes. It's not true. Not true at all. Go and bring this up and get out of here. And then Season 3, it's butchered, as you know, because this one here, what happens is, while 5 is correct, 7 is here. So, I mean, it's not terribly bad. When you go into Kodi, and we'll show you about that in a moment, it's a little bit worse because Kodi directly goes into the TV database and combines that with the movie database, combines both sources. But this one here, for some reason, it's sort of doing okay. I still am not convinced that, and you can't modify any of this metadata. There's no way to edit it. Even if you right click, there's nothing. You can look at information if you want, and it's saying nothing available because the only way you'll get that information again is through Servio. So the point here is that And the other series are pretty good, actually. In Servio, let me just go to those for a moment. Hawaii Five-O is fine. Again, the basic series is going to be fine, but you're not going to be able to manage your database, or your server rather, which is a database, through here. So what do you do? What do you do then? Kodi is also a server, its own database. Right now, if I go to television shows here, you'll see that three of those four shows, or three of the four shows I have, are at the bottom. And you'll see that one of them is mislabeled. We'll talk about that later. Let's go into Night Gallery for a moment, and it's really nice the way they have this, organized. But this is kind of butchered. This is how it looked like in Servio. Remember, it started with the cemetery, the eyes, and so on. It's looking at it as it's listed on the TV database, and there's no way around it that I've found. Um, and then, of course, this one here is really, really, we can fix this one pretty easy. It's not so bad, but it's picking up the wrong television series. So how do you add a TV series to Kodi? How do you get it to do this? Well, we're going to go in here and go to Files under Videos and add a video. Now, I'm going to browse for a moment, and as you see here, I'm just going to edit the location. This location was written by me. This is just the IP address and, of course, my folder. You'll select that, and then you can go to your subfolder. Let's go to Friends and click OK. Now, it automatically will name it based upon its folder. That should tell you something about Kodi right from the get-go, and that is that it's looking at folders. Keep that in your mind. Here, we're going to give the directory what it contains, which is TV shows, and it defaults to the movie database, but you can add these, and you should add the TV database. It's terrible, but it's the only thing that's going to help you at this point, and I hope the moderators are replaced, and get ratings from IMDb as well. At this point, I'm just going to click OK, and I want you to look at the top right of the screen, and you'll see that it scans quickly and bang, and it was scanning file names, right? All right. So we'll go to TV shows, and it doesn't appear. It doesn't appear for good reason. We scanned it as a file, bunch of file names, not as a set of TV shows. We're going to go into Friends here, right-click, and change content. You don't have to choose a thumbnail or do anything like that. You can if you want to make it look nice and pretty. Here's the magic bullet right here. We're going to select that, which says selected folder contains a single TV show. The same thing applies to movies as well. You want to select that as well for movies. And here's what's going to happen. We're going to click OK. Now nothing happens. And if we go back, and I'm going to do this for the sake of proving to you, nothing. So wait a minute. You just told me, Mr. Technology Man, that would work. It will, but you have to do something else. Right-click and scan for new content. Now, if you look at the upper right, you're going to see it now process it as a TV show, the year in English and so on, and a percentage, right? Now let's go back to TV shows, and lo and behold, there it is. There's Friends, and we have it. So you can see there, and this is nice too because it will change the background as you change the television show. So that shows you how you add one, and it tells you how many episodes are in here, right? Now, what about this situation here? This is a little nasty one. It mismatched the show of interest with the series. In Plex, you could unmatch and match and select it. If you right-click on here and go to Metadata Editor, which you have to add, by the way, you have to add it as, and I'll show you where that is in a bit. an add-on. No, I'm sorry, it's not in there. Um, oh boy. Go to information. All right, there's a metadata editor as well. What you do is under information here, you're going to scroll over to refresh. Refresh is what you want. If you go back in to here and select scan for new content, I'll do it now. I'm not going to do anything. It just goes in and out, blip in and out, nothing. So we'll go to information again, and here you will choose refresh. It's going to say refresh all information for all episodes. You say yes. So it finds a locally stored information there. It says should you ignore that and refresh from internet? You want to say yes. Now it's picked up a listing of TV shows it's pulled from the internet. This is what it did originally. It pulled the very first one in the list. Now, the original series for Hawaii Five-0 isn't present. What do? So you go to manual, and we're going to type in oh, 1968. And click OK. We're going to see if it'll pick it up. And there it does. It actually does. And so you're going to then select that show. And it's going to update it with the correct, and it's going to fetch everything there. And lo and behold, we're back to remember, we started at the information page. Now I'm going to come out of that, and there we have it. Really, really neat. Okay. So you can match them correctly. Doesn't help you here. Let's go into Night Gallery, and here, first season, as you see, as we said before, it's been mismatched. They're not right. So what do you do there? What do I do with Night Gallery? How can I fix that? What can I do to fix it? This is season 2, by the way. We're going to go to season 1. So you have some options. You can right-click on this. Under Metadata Editor, we talked about that before, it's an add-on you have to add. You open the editor, and now you can change anything you want here. If you double-click it, you can change what you want. I'm going to cancel it for now. Your title, the first aired, the plot, the director, and so on. And you can change all this information. The other thing is, what if this is the wrong image? You can right-click again. You can manage. I think it is manage. Let's edit title. Don't know why that one. You can do the same thing from your other, from your metadata. Let's go to that one just to show you that again. And open up editor. So your title's right there anyway. So, but I think it's on information if I'm not mistaken. And we go to information. And there, if we scroll across, there it is, choose art. So under choose art, you have a thumbnail. Now, if you try to add art type here, it's very foolish. Not going to help you. So I'm going to go back to choose art and go to thumbnail and select the thumbnail. Now I can browse for my art somewhere in my directory, somewhere where I need to find that art. I can browse for it and then add it to it. Now you'll notice current art and remote art. I'm not certain of the differences between the two of them, but the image is the same. So that's how you change your art if you want to do that. I probably would change this to what the pilot image looks like. That's not going to change, by the way, what you see here, all the actors and actresses. This is going to leave you with a little bit of something here because it doesn't really need to have that changed because you're only going to see it here anyway, unless you're going to do a search for by actor, or you wouldn't need to worry about that. And you can do that same thing, by the way, that you can do with Serviio. Give me the genre, the actor, the name of the program, so on. And so we can fix it up in here. Now the other question will be, wait a minute, I fix all this up, I get it all nice. But if I update the file again, if I update the library, I'm sorry again, it's going to wipe it back to the original. And that's just true. It will set it right back to the original. So how do you deal with that? What do you do there to prevent it from doing that? Well, there's a little trick to it. Go to videos again, under files, and then you're going to go to, let's go to night gallery. That's the one we have of interest. Change content, and there's another magic bullet here, right here. Exclude path from library updates. So what that means is anything updating the library, or you don't do a refresh, you wouldn't want to refresh it, but if there's some sort of update in the library, once you manually set it, this will override it. So this is a good thing to have. Good thing to have. So you can see here in my TV shows, it's good. Movies, I have nothing here right now. Let's add the videos for movies, or one movie. Files, and add. And we're going to go browse again here, and we're going to pull up the same one here, and this time documentary, and OK. And you see it, of course, it named it as a documentary. When you click OK. And this is a movie, so we're going to have to say movies, and the movie database, and our settings give us the IMDb ratings as well. That looks good. And also here, movies are in separate folders that match the movie title. We need that one. If you wanted to say it contains a single video here, this is fine. Right now it's grayed out, so I would suspect that if you do recursive and now you do it as a single, right? Recursive would mean going from through the entire folder from beginning to end. But I don't find that to have any issue with this. So we're going to click OK. You want to refresh the items? Yes. And you'll see there it's going to put one of them in there right now. Okay, great. So we're going to go to our movies, and there it is. We've added a movie, and now our library is not empty. So I have TV shows, and there's some music in there. We don't have any pictures right now. And in addition, Kodi gives you the ability to edit nodes. I'm going to just go into the, remember I told you the add-ons. My add-ons install from repository, pardon me, and we're going to go to program add-ons, and if you can see here, some of the things that are added here, check to the artist slideshow, and let's see, oh wait, this is, I think I hit the wrong one here, hang on a minute. No, that was image, I think, add-ons. Oh, these are program add-ons, they are, okay. And then, where are we? There we go, node editor. We have the node editor, which you can customize your own nodes, which are what you want to see, and the metadata editor. Among other things, you have a lot of other kinds of possibilities here. For torrents, the toolbox script, TV show next aired. Unless you're doing live TV, you don't really need it. And there's a whole bunch of other ones. And YouTube is also one that you can connect to YouTube DL. This is really, really good stuff. If you go to the media portion here, in general, no, library, you can export your video library, okay? And why would you want to do something like this? Well, remember, Kodi, you're building your server in one location. Your server and application software are together, bound. So if you export the library, and you have an option of exporting it to single file or multiple file. I'm just going to go over here and go into, oh no, it's maybe on my desktop. Where did I do my last export? Yeah, here it is. It's on my desktop. And you'll see here that you'll get actors, right? You get the movies, right? That thumb for that particular movie we just saw. Um, we don't have any music videos, and our TV shows, right? We got banners and all kinds of stuff. Image thumbs, right? Same thing with Hawaii Five-O, Night Gallery, and of course Twilight Zone. So you can take this file, literally take it, okay, and import it back in to Kodi, going import file, and then you would look for your import file. Um, and you would look to import each one of these, or just TV shows. Give me all my TV show information, give me my movie information, and so on. You can do that. You could bring it back in and recreate your database, essentially, your server. I don't know that I would advise to do that. I don't think that's a good idea because you set it up in one area, but to back it up, it's nice. And therefore, you don't lose your created server database information. Very good in that sense. And so, how would I rate these? What would I say about these in terms of Kodi versus Servio versus Plex? Well, Plex is still the number one. They just are. Plex has done a fantastic job at setting up their software. On the drawback side, you have to have the server running at some location, but if you have a NAS, it's not a big deal. You run it at the NAS, you pick it up with the Plex software. I think that's the best solution. What I see would be the best solution. And um, and so and so let's see here. I'm going to just bring up our file that I have here. Let's see. Open. Recent. Here it goes. Okay. Um, and how I view each one of them, how I break it down. Sorry to have some dead air here, but here we go. Plex is a definite 4, looks to be a 5. In my opinion, it's so easy to set up. It's so easy to work with. And you're getting your metadata from the TV database or the movie database, depending on what you force it through. When I force it through movie database, I never have a problem with any television series. Not had one. Can you edit the metadata? Absolutely. It gives you the ability to change things around, to modify things. It's great. Do you need a server instance? Yes, one. Just run one server instance, and you can then pick up that instance where it's running from. Again, if it's running from a computer, leave that computer on and put a screensaver on it, and then you can access it from your TV. Or if you have a NAS, just run it from the NAS. Or and they do have software for NAS that you can run it from it. And the NAS is going to be on anyway. It's your media source. Can you export any data from it, from the database? No. Plex does not allow it. Did I understand from what I remember from the software? I didn't see any way to export anything. And Plex isn't really customizable apart from a few things you can do with it. You can say, I don't want to show X, Y, and Z. But that doesn't take away from Plex. Plex has a really nice interface. Servio only gets 3, and that's being very kind to Servio. I can't blame it for its metadata source, but I can say it's a bad choice. When you force everything through the TV database, and as we've seen, you have to name those files correctly. In the case of Hawaii Five-O, we picked up the wrong one even with Servio, the wrong series. So you had to make sure they're named correctly to identify the correct series. We resolved that with Name My TV Series software, which we did, I think, in the either last or the episode or video before this. I think it was video 3. And so, you know, there's some problems there. And then, yes, you need a server instance, but it's not one that's going to consume as much as Plex. Plex's application runs with a little more resource on your computer. The other side of it is Servio, as long as you have a metadata browser anywhere available on your smart TV, on your Xbox, on your PlayStation, you can access that Servio, that server, that UPnP server, and run with it, and you're golden. Can you export the database? I'm saying no. You actually can through, and we saw this on a previous video where we did this with our database software, which was I don't remember the one we used. I think it was let me just see. It's right over here. Yeah, DB Visualizer. There are other server applications. You can look at the database. You can, in some cases, modify it as long as you're not in a location that requires a password, like we were in this case. But even if you modify that database, you're not going to get any guarantee that if you copy it back over, it's going to be able to recognize it correctly. In fact, they tell you don't touch the Derby database. And that makes me think that it's a very poor selection for a Derby with Apache database. Is Servio customizable? Apart from getting rid of a few items, which are, the categories, it's not very customizable at all. You just get what you get and you go with it. And then you have to find your television or series under series, and you have to find your movies under movies. Now, Kodi, on the other hand, gets 4 solid stars, and it's looking really good. The metadata source can be TV or is TV, and I'm certain it's TV and movie database. I'm going to prove to you why. I'm just going to go here for a minute and go to information. And not information. I don't think that's the one. No, I'm going to go to, I believe it's metadata editor. Yeah, that's the one. I get them confused. We're going to open the editor. And as you see here, yeah, it's here. MPA rating, director, writer, country. Come on, there it is. IMDb picked up a number for it. And so it's also working with IMDb and the movie database as well. You'll notice, obviously, the TV database isn't there, but when you look at television programs, and we're going to cancel out of this, and let's go to our TV programs, one of them. Doesn't matter which one. Let's do Friends. Whoop, jumped. Got to have the navigation here, right? There we go. We come here, and we go to our metadata editor. I'm getting confused again. And open editor. And you can see here, nothing under IMDb, nothing under the movie database, but here you are, the TV database. It's pointing to it. And I have tried everything to get it to force it through here. Where you could actually do that, you could actually select that, but it doesn't seem to work well at all. In fact, I have more problems forcing it through the movie database than I did leaving it on the TV database. So you could do it. The bottom line there is that your metadata sources can be picked up from multiple locations when you're dealing with TV shows. You notice for a movie, it was just one, movie database and IMDb, but that's also a movie database. Is the metadata editable? Yes, it is. To a point, you can edit pretty much everything except the actors and so forth, which are linked to the metadata from TV database. Server instance is based on install, meaning that where you install the server, where you run the Kodi software from, if you're running it from your Xbox in your living room, that's where you're going to have it. Now you can export that database and bring it into another instance of Kodi and run it. Nothing stops you. I think it's a lot of work, but nothing stops you from it. And it is certainly, as we see, customizable. I mean, these colors that you see here, you can change these colors in Kodi. You can change a lot of things here from the interface, from the skin, right? Configure skin. You can select different types of configurations of the skins. You can change the skin to some kind of really wild stuff over here. Let's try this one, for example, and see what we get. See, it says mouse not supported. No, I'm going to say no on this one. For some reason, mouse is not supported on that one, but there's a skin for touch screens, and this is a default skin. So you can change all this, and the colors of your skin you can change as well, right? You can do all of that, and the theme, right? Curio flat. You can change the whole. You can modify a lot of things in here. So, with that in mind, Kodi provides you with how you can really take this to the next level, what you want. The only drawback to Kodi I see is that where you set up the server is generally where you're going to have to use it. You can export that database to your network, to a network drive, and then pick it up from another television, import it, and so on. It will work. It most certainly will work. You can import all that information into it. I haven't done this yet. I'm guessing that the NFOs and everything will configure the entire database and bring it to an equivalence of what you're working with. I don't know if the sources have to be re-added at this point. I would think not. But even if they, because the sources themselves are part of, I think, the NFO data that is in there, but I have yet to determine that. Okay, so anyway, the end result here on Kodi is that, well, we wanted to have it as a front end for Servio. It's not going to matter because you can't edit any metadata anyway. Whatever your back end is, whatever you're starting with, where Servio is where you get your metadata from. Um, what what is a shame with Servio is that if it were able to correctly get metadata from the TV database, it to me, Servio and Kodi together would be the way to go. However, when you look at Kodi and the way I set this up in Kodi, I think you'll agree that this is much nicer to work from here than it is to scroll through all of these screens here from Servio, right? If I go to series, whoa, sorry, let me go back. Videos, it's jumping around here. Servio and series. It's just navigationally and image-wise, it's better to have them all, in my opinion, here, like this, to get them access to all of your programs here. It just works better. It just does. So this is going to pretty much finish it until I do some more tweaking and looking for hidden items with it. This is the way I would rate these home server software. Notice the universal media servers and not on here. Again, that is so basic. It's not even worth going into. I presented that, I believe, in the second video, where I looked at the three of them. I think the third video. I'm going to just leave it with this here. Plex and Kodi are free. You don't pay anything for them, unless you want to have premium stuff in Plex. Servio, there's a charge for it. And I would really say that Kodi's not UPnP in the sense that it doesn't have to be, because you have your own application to run the server that's connected with it. It's all one-stop shopping. It's the only one that's one-stop shopping. Plex requires both the server software to run and the application. And Servio, if you pay for it, you'll get both. Okay, you'll get both of them. But I just don't like it. I mean, I don't care for it. And then you're back to, okay, I have to rely on the metadata from the TV database to populate it correctly. So you see here, I hope I provided you with something really useful. As I say, think about Kodi. I'm certainly considering it. It's measuring up equally to Plex with only one minor drawback, and that is if I were able to have populated night gallery easily without having a problem, I would say it's even better than Plex. But because it couldn't do that, it didn't get that. I know it's getting 4 stars, but it's more presentation than robustness. Whereas Plex gets 4 stars for its overall performance. The only reason it doesn't get 5 is because I've got to run a server instance as well as the app. And you may say, well, that's not a big deal to me, Mr. Technology Man, but I think, why would I want to have a computer running when I do get a NAS, or when you do get a NAS, which is basically a bank of hard drives that can run software? Plex is where you want to go because it's going to be running anyway. Kodi, on the other hand, will seek out your bank of drives and configure everything from there. And I think it will be just as robust because the good news is you're not going to have any additional software running at your NAS. So I think you're going to have something good there. Kodi's website is quite useful, and you can go to it. Let me see here. I would just say it works on, I'm on a Mac right now. It'll work on Windows. It'll work on Linux. It, like Plex, is multi-platform. Serviio, I've seen Mac and Windows, but I don't know if Linux is going to be capable there. So let's see. It'll come up my browser, and here we are. So let's just see here. All right. And you can see where I want to just show you before I close here the web page for Kodi and where you can go and download it if you want it. So let's see here. Come on. Well, it's taking its time. All right. .com. And here we go. I want to go in Google and type in Kodi. And Kodi, you can grab it. That can run from an Xbox or a PlayStation or even a smart TV. And Kodi.tv is your website. I think it really does it all. But again, so it runs on just about anything here, even Android, Linux, and Raspberry. I don't know why you would want to. I'm not plugging it. I'm not plugging anybody. Leah is what I'm running, which is 18.7. It's a very nice build. Works well. And that really is it. So be well, stay well. I hope this has been helpful. Please subscribe and have a great day.